Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast. I am Dutch. I am in or around Denver, or maybe not at all. That moniker's kind of lost all sense of reality because we don't live in reality anymore. I know it's been a long time. Okay. I did one with our buddy Ever that was live on Facebook that I never posted to the rest of our channels. Sorry. Go watch it on Facebook or YouTube. I didn't I didn't get around to it. I've been busy and honestly, I'm losing caring anymore again, which is bad because this is I really wanted this podcast to take off and do stuff like that, but I don't fucking care anymore. It's the same shit over and over and over. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are tired of listening to it, but I'm fucking tired of talking about it. And people are like, well, Dutch, talk about something else. I can't, man. Like, it literally takes over everything. People are like, oh, Dutch, what are you talking about? Because I'm live under a rock. Politics, man. They are fucking everywhere. And then people are like, oh, that's not true, Dutch. There's other things to talk about. There is, but they're just as dumb as what's going on in politics. And that's what's infuriating to me. It's like, and we'll talk about this because I'm tired, but we got to do one. So I'm going to do one. Okay. Um, some of this news is going to be old. A lot of it is because this is the list that I want to talk about, but uh, it's still relevant, believe it or not. It's insane to me. Okay. Firing off with the first thing is that Elon Musk bought Twitter. He finally got it. And um we're not spending a lot of time on this. But the amount of crazy that has happened due to that fact is, and this is again why I don't want to do stuff, because there are people losing their fucking minds over this. And oh, that's a small portion. I don't think it is, man. I think that's a big portion of the people on Twitter who are like actually losing their fucking minds that Elon Musk has bought Twitter and he's going to actually let other opinions prevail on Twitter. Because, I mean, let's face it. If you're a conservative on Twitter, you will be shadow banned. You'll be permanently banned like the Babylon Bee or Trump, or you don't have as big of a voice. Okay. It is very, very one sided. And if you don't see that, it's because you're fucking crazy. And that's where the left is. Let's start with that. The left is fucking crazy at this point. And if you see it, but you see it as okay, you're also fucking crazy. That's not what this country is about. Like, okay. The First Amendment is the first for a reason. And that's because it is the most important. And it grants certain rights that it's important to know that these are just rights that the government can't take away. Okay, not a private company. And fuck, this is gonna get convoluted. Okay, we'll get back to this in a second, but let's talk about Elon buying Twitter and people are shitting their pants that they're gonna have to hear differing opinions on Twitter, and they're gonna get sad and they're gonna blow up and throw Molotov cocktails through church buildings. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get to that later. And we've already discussed it, but I feel like it has to be reiterated based upon what's happened recently. So Musk is gonna buy Twitter. He's all about free speech and all that, which I'm all for free speech too. Uh, unless it comes to a private company, and we can talk about Twitter. But Dutch, Twitter's a private company; they don't have to allow it. You're absolutely right, except for this small fact, um, that the government, particularly the Biden administration, has actually admitted that, hey man, yeah, we talked to Facebook and Twitter, and we discussed them and be like, hey, this post about Hunter Biden's laptop kind of doesn't seem right, so you probably should get rid of it. Twitter and Facebook's like, okay, yeah, no problem. We don't really like what people are saying about coronavirus, COVID, whatever. So, maybe just, and Twitter and Facebook are like, yeah, okay, we'll get rid of that too. So, and Jen Psaki or Psaki, whatever the fuck you want to call her, the ginger who, oh god, we're not even going to talk about that because that's even more insane. Actually, we will. We'll add that to the list. Part of what we need to go over. Okay. So the government has admitted that they have talked to private businesses and said, hey man, you need to do what we can't. And I know that's an oversimplification, but that's exactly what they've done. The government cannot limit free speech. It says Congress shall pass no law that, infringes on free speech or the right to protest, peacefully assemble, is what it actually says. Okay? Or mandate a religion, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff in the First Amendment. It's first because it's most important. Second, because it's second important. Second's to defend the first and all the others. That's why the list of shit they like at the top, they're like, this is the most important. This is the third, or this is the second, third, fourth, fifth. So yeah, the Bill of Rights is like based on importance. Okay. So you can't argue with that. I mean, you can, but that's what makes you a crazy liberal. And we're going to refer to them as such. But when the government is dictating what a private business does, that's constitutionally against the rules as well. And there's been constitutional and Supreme Court rulings against this. So that's when Twitter is no longer a private company and can do whatever they want, when they're doing the bidding of the government, working hand in hand to censor people. They're an extension of the government. And we're not going to get into details because if you can't look this stuff up and figure it out on your own, you're probably a crazy liberal. Okay? More to the point, though, if Elon Musk buying Twitter affects you, I'm clicking a pen, sorry, in any way other than, okay, I may not get banned for speaking my opinion, you need to get your fucking life together. If Elon Musk buying Twitter affects you in any way, positive, negative, it's fucking Twitter. Like I've relegated myself to, I use Twitter for the traffic report because CDOT posts traffic stuff before they post anywhere else, and yep, that's about it. So I don't care who owns Twitter. I mean, it'd be nice to get the Babylon Bee back. I don't care what Trump has to say anymore. He's the former president. We'll talk about that later too, because people are still on that shit. But if you're affected by Musk buying Twitter at all, you're absolutely fucking crazy and you need goddamn help that I can't provide to you. Only a trained medical psychiatrist can fix for you. So if this is the end of the world for you because you think now more conservatives are going to be on Twitter providing a different opinion than your own, and that somehow is affecting you on a level that you need to like scream, protest, and do all that, you've got to get it the fuck together, man. Or lady. Or, yeah, man or lady. I'm not even doing the trans shit anymore. Again, if Trump buying or if Elon buying Twitter affects you other than so what? And this is beside the fact, like, let's say you don't work for Twitter or you don't have a share in Twitter. Okay. If you're just a normal person on Twitter and Elon buying it is affecting you, you have some serious fucking issues. Now we can talk about uh the employees of Twitter who are a little worried, and if they're worried about censorship or anything like that, they're also equally mentally disturbed and need professional fucking help. But the folks that are worried actually like paychecks and stuff, because I'm sure some of the upper level guys and gals, were promised like stock options or blah blah blah. And now that Twitter is private or will be private, yes, that is something maybe not to worry about, but just, have an interest in. You know, I was promised X stock options and blah blah blah, and some of this and this and this and blah blah blah. And now that it's a private company and completely owned by Elon Musk, uh, where do my stock options stand? All valid questions. I don't know. That's the inner workings of Twitter that you have to deal with. Fine. Okay. Now, if you're a current shareholder in Twitter, you actually probably came out on top, because I think he offered and you got either 38 or 54% over what the current value was, which is a little odd because um it was higher. Like, let's say it was at 100 and then went to 30 and Elon offered 60. um Odd, because that means that Elon typically should have offered over 100. But since he didn't, and people still made money because it was at 30, he offered 60. You still got, your money. But the fact that he offered 60 as opposed to like 110 says a lot about Twitter, that it's a sinking ship. And a lot of it has to do, I do believe, with the censorship stuff that had, you know, it was an echo chamber for the left, and it still is. Um so yeah. But again, if you really care about that, you really need to take a deep look at your life and figure out what the fuck is going on. Because unless you have millions and millions of followers and your entire living is made on Twitter as a left-wing wacko, Elon buying Twitter shouldn't affect you at all. My opinion. Could be right, could be wrong. Let's see. I guess there's a new movie out called The Northmen, and it came out maybe a month ago. And people are super pissed that it did not have a bunch of black people and Mexicans and gays and lesbians and women in it. Oh my god, it's this is why I don't want to do this anymore. It's because imagine being this fucking crazy that you're angry that a movie about the Northmen, which I'm pretty sure is about Vikings, which is strictly fucking white dudes. Historically, like, this is historical fact. This is shit that actually happened, that is just a bunch of white dudes being Vikings, being angry that there aren't black people in this movie, or gay men, or lesbians, or trans people, or anything like that. Imagine being that crazy. That's like if someone made a movie about tribal Africa and then started bitching that there aren't enough white people in it. Well, the reason there aren't white people in a movie about tribal Africa is because historically and in fucking reality, there were no goddamn white people in that story. If you want to talk about like the Kalahari nomads, okay, and you want to make a series about them, and you bitch that there's no white people in it, you're fucking retarded because they are a black tribe. And in reality, there are no white people. And to accurately represent the Kalahari nomads, you probably shouldn't have any fucking white people in it. Okay? But nobody bitches about that because black people are accurately represented. So if you're going to make a show or a movie about white guys, which that's what the Vikings were, you should not bitch that there aren't many black people in it because in reality, and that's the whole problem of the left, is they don't live in fucking reality. There were no black Vikings. There might have been one. I don't know. There were no gay Vikings, and there might have been secretly gay Vikings. Okay. But yeah, they were a bunch of white people. That's how that worked. So don't bitch about how reality functioned. Good God. Let's see. Moving on. Okay, so this goes back a while. We're gonna switch for a little bit, and then I'll go back to other things. We're gonna flop all over here. Uh, the Nuggets were in the playoffs in the first round, and they were playing the Golden State Warriors, and they went down 3-zip. Obviously, you know, they had like two of their best players were apparently out, whatever. But here's my issue is that the Denver sports media, and particularly one guy, James Merilatt, who's a fucking moron, wrote an article that said the Nuggets should just give up and lose the game 4. Sit their starters, just lick your wounds and go back. I have a huge problem with this. Actually, first of all, I can almost guarantee. Oh no, I can guarantee this. James Merilatt has never played competitive sports in his life. He was a chess club nerd. Actually, no, he wasn't even chess club nerd because that's competitive. Okay, he was a little bitch and never did anything competitive in his life. So let me explain something to you guys, in case you don't know. If you've ever been involved in a competition, which chess is a competition, you know, it is a game, but you're trying to beat someone else, or if you've been involved in sports or anything like that, uh, one of the main things is you just don't ever give up. Okay, now I know in chess you can lay down the king and you can forfeit or whatever, but that's when you know you're beat. Okay, but if it's a chess tournament and it's the best of 7 and you're down 3-0, the fourth game you don't just throw. Okay, you actually compete. You compete. And in sports, you compete every game. In competitive sports, now you're, 7 and you're in Park and Rec and you have to play every kid. Maybe there's an exception. But even in life, you should always compete and never give up. And for this person who is a prominent sports figure in the Denver sports media to suggest that says all there is to say about him, he's a beta male pussy, and B, Denver sports media, is that these people do not fucking know what's going on. So if you still listen to Denver sports media, specifically 104.3 The Fan, you're a moron. And you know nothing about sports, and I cannot help you. Never give up, especially in the playoffs in professional basketball. It's just insane to me. you would even suggest that. Now, there is the option that he wrote this just for clickbait. Okay. Which I get. You need clicks to make money, blah, 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 blah. But can't you just write like a good piece instead of being a little beta bitch like DMAC or any of the other guys on the fan? Because like KOA's got the Sports Zoo now and has like a couple ex NFL guys. And that's it. Which it's good if you want to talk football, but we have other teams in Denver, like because none of them know anything about baseball, basketball, or hockey. Like it is embarrassing to listen to that. And I know that Denver is a Broncos town and everybody loves the Broncos, but I don't think they like the Broncos like football. I think it's just a cool thing to do, kind of like the party deck for the Rockies. Because I mean, the Avs are in the playoffs, and if you guys didn't watch last night, they swept the Preds. Okay, and I mean they dominated their asses. They scored 14, 21 goals in 4 games. I think that's insane. Okay, they swept them. The other games are like 2-2 ties right now, and they're playing some tonight. So somebody will get an advantage tonight. But listening to these guys talk about Hoggy, they have no fucking idea. If they can name our starting line, I'd be shocked and appalled. But that, I mean, that's the situation with Denver sports is we only care about the Broncos, and that's going to bring me to another point. I don't know if it was the same idiot Marilat, but it was another. It might have been him, but it was another shithead from the fan who wrote an article that said Russell Wilson holds all the cards in contract negotiation for the Broncos. So, in case you guys don't know, the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson. He's the new Broncos quarterback. Here's my issue. The man has not played a single game for the Donkeys. Okay? He hasn't won or lost any games for us. He's, as far as I'm concerned, not even a Bronco. He's never played a game for us. They're still on like OTAs or voluntary OTAs. For them to negotiate a contract with someone who's never played a game for us ever is absolutely insane. What these people, again, they talk about the Broncos so much, but they don't understand. The Broncos suck, man. I'm sorry to say this, but our defense is not as good as you think it is. Well, the rest of the world knows. And our offense is fucking awful. And Russell Wilson is not the key to this offense. Russell Wilson is not used to getting chased every single play trying to get murdered. We have a shit offensive line. We have horrible tight ends. Now, Noah Fant got traded, but yeah, he was bad, man. He doesn't block. He went out for a pass and may have caught it and may have not. We have receivers who were really good, got a big contract, and disappeared. We have a running game which I couldn't tell you about. So, saying Russell Wilson holds all the cards, I don't know about that. And also, this love with him immediately is irritating as shit. Like, I get it, man. He's a good dude. Like, he does a lot for the community. His wife seems like a nice lady. They seem like a nice family. I don't fucking care. I want Super Bowls. You're here to win Super Bowls. So, bowing at his feet when A, he hasn't even played a single game for the Denver Broncos, and what he does in the community, personally to me, is fucking irrelevant. I don't think sports figures should be role models. Okay? We can talk, well, I guess we talk about it. No, sports figures are not fucking role models. I'm sorry. That's why I still like Tiger Woods. He may not be a great person. He probably banged a lot of whores and cheated on his wife and did some dumb shit. But he is really fucking good at golf. And that is all I care about. Okay? I don't look up to him and be like, yeah, I wanna be like Tiger Woods. I mean I do, because I'd love to be that good at golf. Okay. But he's not a role model of mine. And if I had children, I would not be like, you should be like Tiger Woods. No, you should be like your dad, who, works hard, has a small podcast, drinks too much, and just deals with shit. I mean, obviously, we're not going to say that, but sports figures should not be role models. Now, if you find a good one, okay. But that's not their job. Their job is to win championships. And so far, Russell Wilson has not won shit for us. So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't fucking care. And I'm tired of hearing about him. It's cool we got him. I think he'll be exciting for the Broncos. But if they put up another 7 spot, I'm out. I mean, I'm already out, and I don't care because the NFL is so politically driven that it's a joke. Okay, but that's dumb. I know, you just want clicks. That's why we need more tits on this podcast. Like, if we had boobs hanging out, we'd have a ton more views. Uh, oh, we'll stick with sports for a little bit. Okay, so baseball has started a long time ago. Cardinals are doing all right. Their their offense is a little down right now as we record this podcast. But pitching's not bad. We're not gonna talk about the COVID thing with Wayno because I'm so fucking done with COVID. I can't even. It makes me want to scream, like liberal crazy scream. Okay. But this year in Major League Baseball, they have implemented a new system. Okay, that is an electronic system that the pitcher wears something in his ear, in his hat, something, and the catcher wears something on his wrist that he can call pitches via that, so you can't steal signs. We're not going to talk about any of the other problems with MLB right now because there's a lot of them. Rob Manfred is the devil to baseball. Okay? He's going to ruin Major League Baseball. And I'm real close. Like, I don't want a DH. We can argue about that all day. You're wrong. Okay? The pitcher needs to bat. That is baseball. That is a something that needs to happen. That's what makes the game interesting. I don't care. Whatever. We'll debate that later. But what I'm specifically talking about is sign stealing. Okay? Oh my god, Dutch, it sounds like they're cheating. Properly done, it's not cheating, it's part of the game. If there's a guy on second and he can see the fingers the catcher is displaying and he can figure out that and he can somehow relay it to the batter, that's not cheating. That is part of baseball. Now, if some guy in the bullpen can see it without the help of binoculars, and he can decipher that, and he can somehow relay that to the batter without like binoculars or electronics or vibrating, that's not cheating. That is baseball. Sign stealing in baseball, when you're not using the aid of something other than your eyes, is not a violation of any of the rules. That is baseball. Okay? Now, for Rob Manfred and those other idiots to implement this system is just pure wrong. And it's all because the Astros cheated because they're pieces of shit and got away with murder. Okay? That's what this is based on. And I'm very unhappy about it. Let's see. A couple other things. There's a WNBA chick who's been detained in Russia because she had drugs on her and she's in prison. Good. Dying. Good. Okay. It might be legal here. It's not legal in Russia. You got caught. You're in prison. Sorry. Now, if you didn't get caught, I mean, you're in Russia. It's a shithole country, and they probably made it up, or they didn't, or whatever, but you got no one to blame but yourself. Deal with it. I don't give a shit. ESPN, everyone else needs to quit making a deal about this. What's it? Brittany Gardner, Grinder, who fucking cares? You brought drugs to Russia. Russia has rules against drugs. You got caught. You're fucked. Your problem, not mine. No one should get involved in this. People should be like, you're stupid. You pay the consequences. Fuck me. Let's see what else. Okay, dude, I do not, for the life of me, understand the obsession with this Johnny Depp. What's her name? Rachel? Amber. I think it's Heard. Whatever. The Depp Heard trial. I don't fucking get it. Who gives a shit? Like, I am astonished anyone cares about this at all. And I see it everywhere. It's on Fox News, it's on CNN, it's Twitter, it everywhere, YouTube. Who fucking cares? This is what I'm talking about, like being just crazy. Who cares? Some movie star is divorcing another one because they're both fucking crazy? Who gives a shit? It's like our obsession with the royals. I don't fucking care. I haven't cared what they thought about since 1776. What's going on? I honestly feel like we have. I mean, obviously we've lost our fucking minds, but Jesus. All right. Now we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. And some of this stuff has to be said. Okay? So, for those of you who don't know, somehow, and we'll just dissect this in parts, but somehow, actually, you know, let's pop the chew out, because I'd rather be drinking during this than anything else. Good God. Okay. So like a week ago, it was leaked that the Supreme Court was going to shoot down Roe v. Wade. Oh my God. Let's start here at A. And I know I've promised and I haven't done this, but I think the Supreme Court's ability to determine the constitutionality of law is fabricated by themselves. So I don't necessarily believe that that is their job. We will discuss that later. Okay. Let's put that aside. I will bury that, and I will accept that for now. We will generally accept their job is to do that, to determine the constitutionality of law, which it's not. But let's not do that, okay? B, for someone to leak a Supreme Court decision is absolutely nuts to me. Now, while that person probably didn't break any laws or anything like that, and I mean, guys, let's face it, it was someone on the left. Good God. Nobody on the right did this ahead of the elections or anything when this country is literally in a shithole of shambles. Okay. It was someone on the left. And I think it was the chick who is clerking for the retiring Supreme Court justice. And I can't think of his name right now. Okay. But that's what I think. But for someone to do that is unethical at the least. When these are supposed to be the most ethical of ethical. Okay. I hope they find that person and nail him to the wall. They won't, but I hope they do. Let's talk about this, though. Roe versus Wade. A lot of people say that this is the deciding factor on whether or not abortion is legal. Not true. It is a privacy issue that was settled by the Supreme Court. And that Congress failed to, and I can't think of the term, but like make a law about. Let's put it that way in simple words. Because the Dred Scott thing about slavery, the Supreme Court says, no, you can't, blah, blah, blah. And then Congress acted and they made a law that said slavery, no bueno. Okay? They also made one about the Board of Education that separate but equal was unconstitutional. And then Congress made a law that said, yep, we're upholding this as law. And then you have Roe versus Wade, where it was a privacy issue that Congress never acted on to, be like, okay, I guess we'll simplify it and we'll just call it abortion because it really is a privacy issue, though. And that's how, I don't know how it's gotten this abortion shit, but whatever. But Congress never made a law upholding Roe versus Wade. So all of this has just been a fictitious nonsense of people doing whatever the fuck they want based upon this. Let's be clear about one thing, though. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, abortion will not be outlawed. Well, I won't say it won't be outlawed. I'm saying that it won't be up to the federal government. It will go back to the states and be a state issue, which it should be all around. The states should decide. And if you want to be like Colorado, and yeah, I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings here, but I'm gonna do it. If you want to be like Colorado and you want to murder a child after it's born, fine. Well, not fine, but you know what I mean. That's Colorado's choice. The voters made that choice, and that is our law. So, in Colorado, we'll have abortion will be legal and infant murder will be legal. It is now. Okay? If Texas doesn't want to do that, fine. That's Texas's prerogative. Just like it's Colorado's prerogative to murder children. And if Tennessee wants to outlaw abortions, fine. Tennessee's prerogative. And if California wants to allow them, fine. It's a states' rights issue is the general idea here, is that each state should make their own laws when it comes to abortion. They should make their own laws when it comes to basically fucking everything. Except for national defense, interstate highways. Yep, that's probably about it. States should make their own rules about everything else. Okay? So that is an undeniable fact. And the left will be like, oh, no, blah, blah. We're going to take away women's rights to vote and blah. Nope, that's not going to happen. Well, it could. Actually, it could. I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. It could happen. But a woman's right to vote is in the Constitution. It's an amendment. Okay? So if you want to add abortion to rights, under the Constitution, make an amendment. It's not easy to do. It's very difficult, but that is kind of the point is that you need to think long and hard, and you need to get a big majority to ratify it and make it an amendment. But women are not going to lose their voting rights because of Roe v. Wade being overturned. They'll lose it if they amend the Constitution and take out, I think it's the 19th Amendment. Okay? That's when they'll lose it. Just like you might lose your right to bear, let's not use that one. You might, the prohibition one was overturned. Like they made an amendment that outlawed the production of alcohol. I don't think consumption was outlawed. It was just production or possession. I don't know. But they made that amendment, so that was a federal thing, and then they repealed that amendment, and it was no longer. Okay, so if Roe v. Wade is overturned, it's only going to go back to the states. Women aren't going to lose the right to vote. All this crazy crap that the left is lying to you about. Okay, it's just going to be a state issue, and it'll be a state by state thing that each state will decide whether or not they want abortion. And if they do want it or they don't want it, when they want it, under what circumstances, and things like that. Okay? That's the essence of this. So, why the left is incensed over this, and they're going fucking crazy. Okay? They are firebombing churches. They are defacing churches. They are camped out Supreme Court justices' homes, screaming and yelling. This is the definition of actual fucking crazy. People are like, well, no, Dutch, that's doing the same thing over and over. And blah, blah, blah. No, this is crazy. Okay? And if you for 1 second are still holding on to that January 6th narrative about, people, the insurrection, this is way worse. You do not go outside a Supreme Court justice's house and deface it, yell, scream, do whatever you want. Because again, you have the right to peacefully protest, not act like a complete fucking crazy person, which that's what the left does. Act like completely fucking crazy people. You do not have the right to go deface churches. It's a peaceful protest, not a graffiti, firebomb, vandalized church protest. You're insane. And they won't prosecute you because, the Democrats are, again, absolutely fucking crazy people. And that, we'll take a little small detour. There's an organization that's going to be, I think it's called like Unite America, or specifically Unite Colorado. And what you do is, I guess you fill out a survey, and then you have a Zoom call with someone who is different than you. And it could be politically different, or it could just be like, I live in a downtown high rise, you live on a rural farm. And you have a Zoom call, and there's discussion topics pre-provided that you discuss. And a couple of radio shows that I listen to have done this. Some friends have done this, and I thought about it. Could I do this? Because you need to have a civil conversation or discussion, or if it's not civil, it has to be tolerable for both parties. Because I think there's a button you can click that's like, I'm uncomfortable, and it's done. But I've asked myself, could I do this? And my answer is it depends. It depends on how far left I got. Because obviously, well, maybe I may not get a lefty, but I probably would, because that seems how it is. And for the record, I think it's very important that we can have a civil discussion with the other side. And I think that's what we're lacking. But the point of this is why I couldn't do it is because I don't think a civil discussion can be had any longer, Because I personally believe that they have gone so absolutely batshit crazy that there's no civil, rational discussion that can be had. I mean, you're standing outside the homes of Supreme Court justices. That's doxing. I mean, we're not even going to get into that libs of TikTok thing. We might, but no, that's absolutely fucking crazy. Again, if you think that you should give hormone blockers and stuff to kids who are 5, you're absolutely fucking crazy. And I don't think that there's a rational conversation to be had there. And that's why I'm not sure that I could do this Unite Colorado or Unite. Now, if we find, like, because I'm not saying, yeah, I'm not saying everyone on the left is absolutely fucking crazy. Because there are some people that are disenchanted with the current left, but still are liberal and whatever. So I could talk to them because I think it would be interesting to speak with them because I think we want a lot of the same things. The method of getting to the solution is different. And I think that's where healthy discussion is. But with what's currently going on with the radical is that we don't even want the same things. They want full on, like, batshit crazy fucking communism where, we abuse children. And there's no common ground I can find on that. And that's where I think that there can be no rational discussion. Because if you're unhappy about Roe v. Wade being overturned, you're irrational. Like, you're you're not based in fucking reality. And if the federal government had taken steps to solidify the Supreme Court decision, fine. But they didn't. And they've had, it was 72, 73. They've had 50 fucking years to do this, and they haven't. That says something. And I'm a firm believer in states' rights. Like, let the states decide. And then you go to the other bigger picture. You know who has, like, the most lenient abortion laws? Like, just you can get abortion whenever for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. I think it's like the United States, and this is in no particular order, but like the United States, North fucking Korea, China? Is that because like Europe does not have these like elective, you just, I got pregnant, I don't want this, I'm out laws. Okay? So we are by far the most liberal, small L, of the abortion laws. Like, you just get it if you want it. Now, this is where we get into the logistics of abortion. Because if we're going to bring it up, we are going to talk about what I believe and what, actually, what I believe is irrelevant. The argument from the left is you cannot force another human being to be pregnant. Essentially, they'll call it parasite or provide, whatever. Okay. And while I agree, there's a couple issues here. Now, let's get this out of the way immediately. We're just going to talk about I made a poor decision, or not a poor decision. I made a decision and I got pregnant. And I'll get into what that means in a minute. We are not going to talk about cases of rape and incest because those are entirely separate. Okay? I will touch on those, but right now we're just going to talk about I made a choice. I got pregnant. I don't want this baby anymore. You can't force me to carry it. Yes, I can. Okay. Because you did make a choice. And again, this is outside of rape and incest. If you got drunk one night and you had sex with someone and you got pregnant, you made that choice to have sex with someone. And I hate to break it to you. And this is, I think, a key component that everyone is missing. Your entire existence as a human being, or a grasshopper, or a deer, or a goat, or a chicken, or a flower, follow me here, is procreation. That is the only reason you exist, is to procreate. Okay? Flowers do it through pollination, and they're pretty, they're nice, but that is their goal, is procreation. To make more flowers. Okay? To multiply. The grasshopper's only goal is to make more grasshoppers. Yeah, people are like, well, it's to eat. Yeah, they need to eat and drink and do all this stuff, but the end goal is procreation. For everything on this planet is to continue the species. That is your point on this planet. Now, if we want to be theological about this, some people would say that the point on this planet as a human being is to get to heaven because you have a soul. But if we're biologically, your existence is to procreate, okay? And you raise that child to procreate, and that's what keeps humans alive and in existence, okay? So that negates a lot of your dumb arguments about all the other crap you want to bring up. But you made the decision, and again, outside of rape and incest, to have unprotected sexual intercourse, knowing the consequences. And I don't mean consequences in a negative connotation, but I mean like knowing what could happen. And if you have sex without knowing you can get pregnant, or you can get someone, a female, pregnant, you're a fucking idiot. And you probably shouldn't be having sex. And we could talk about laws about that later, but they won't let me do it now. Okay? So you made that decision. And now you're pregnant. And now you have to stick with the consequences. Okay? No one is forcing you. Yeah, we are forcing you. Okay? That's like, and this is a very drastic thing, but if you make the decision to shoot someone, you are going to prison for the rest of your life. Murder. Okay? So if you make the decision to have unprotected intercourse, sexual intercourse with a man as a woman, and you get pregnant, you made that decision. No one is going, yeah, we're going to force you. We're going to put your feet to the fire, and you're going to go through with the decision you have made. What about the man, Dutch? Okay, I'll get to him. He has to pay child support for the rest of his life. Oh, it's just 8. It's long. Okay, fine. 18. So he has a financial stake in this, and it just so happens that the way biology works is that the woman has to carry the child. I can't help you. That's how it fucking works. Okay? Now, if we're going to say that we should all get a choice, okay? Couple things. How come the guy who was an equal part in this, because let's face it, you can't get pregnant by yourself. It just doesn't work. I don't care what you think, it doesn't happen. It can't happen unless you're the Virgin Mary, and that'd be the mother of Jesus. And if you're the mother of Jesus, well, fuck, I can't wait to meet you. But you're not. You're someone who got pregnant and didn't want to. Now you got to face the music. So, takes two to tango. But it only takes one to make the decision about the life of a child. It doesn't seem right, does it? Like, how come me as a potential father doesn't have a say in it? Like, we both made the decision to have intercourse unprotected and procreate. And it's like, well, we didn't discuss it. No, no. If you have unprotected sex, you're kind of making that decision. Like, it could happen. And if that's a risk you're going to take, you have to deal with the consequences. So, how come the guy has no say in whether or not the girl can abort the baby? There's your argument is flawed again. And how come you say my body, my choice, but when I was all up in arms about the vaccine, you guys were like, not your body, your choice. Fucking take it. Sheep. See how this isn't an argument? Because again, if you make the decision to do something and you know the consequence, because if you don't know the consequences of unprotected sex as a child, you're fucking retarded and I can't help you. And you're going to learn things the hard way. Just like if you don't know the consequences of murdering another human, is your ass is going to jail for the rest of your life. I can't fucking help you. So if two people, a man and a woman, get together and they have unprotected sexual intercourse and she gets pregnant, no one is forcing you. Like, yeah, we are forcing you to keep that child. You made a decision. Fucking man or woman up and do it. Okay? That's where I stand on that. Okay, you made that decision. You now have to deal with those consequences. If you drive drunk and kill someone, you have to. Okay, even if you do a good thing, like let's say you invented the nuclear bomb, you have to deal with the consequences of whatever that happens. Okay, you made that choice, and the effects of that choice you have to deal with. You don't get to take the easy way out. Now, we can discuss abortion in a way that is like, I got pregnant. We both agree to have an abortion. We can discuss that option. But if you make a decision and you get pregnant, we are going to force you to carry that child to term. Okay? Because that is the decision you made, and you have to take responsibility for the decisions you make. Now, again, this is not rape and incest. If you were raped, we can cross that bridge when we get to it. But the percentage of that is so minor, it's not even funny. And also, like, I can't remember where I saw this on Twitter. And there's much more to this. I just don't have the energy to do it. But if there was someone advocating for the murder of puppies, you people would lose your fucking shit. But we have people advocating for the murder of human children. And you are like, yep, that's totally fine. That's totally normal, totally fine. Go ahead. It is, you guys are mistaking a lot of things like what you think your right is. And if you want to say that healthcare is the decision made between a woman and her doctor, fine. That's a privacy issue. That is not, I mean, are we now going to say, hey, if someone decides they want to kill themselves, a doctor can help with that, and we're just going to, okay? But pregnancy is a little different because you have, I won't say a third, you have a third person involved. You have The male, the female, and the doctor. How come the male doesn't get a say in it? They both made the decision. Again, outside of the case of rape and incest. This is absolutely insane to me that your argument, or the left, not yours, but the left's argument is that you can't force me to carry a child. If it wasn't your choice, we can talk about that. But it was your choice to get pregnant in the event of 90% of them. Well, I didn't mean that. That's different. If you didn't mean to, but you still did it, you're just stupid. Like, clearly, you don't know how this works. And that's a whole bigger problem. Condom breaks. Well, shit happens. You don't get to take another human life. Well, I mean, we all can debate on when life. Yeah, we can do that. We can have that conversation too. Let's debate when, life happens. Well, it can't survive out the womb. Well, a baby can't survive out. If it can't survive out the womb, okay, perfect argument. Fine, let's accept that. A baby outside the womb who's a month old can't survive either by itself. You can't just leave it there and it'll be fine. A baby who's 2 can't survive on its own. I would argue a 5-year-old can't survive on their own. There's a lot of you that can't survive on your own. So where's your argument there? You don't have one. You say dumb shit for attention. And it's very irritating. Again, rape and incest, we can talk about that. I'll have that discussion. But I made a poor decision, or I made it doesn't have to be a poor one. I made a decision and I got pregnant. And now I don't want it. Too fucking bad. You don't get to kill that life. And Roe v. Wade isn't going to do that either. That's the bigger overarching theme, okay? The sickos in the Colorado legislature will still allow you to murder your baby. Don't worry. And the people in Texas who have their heads on right will not allow you to do that. So don't live in Texas if you want to kill babies. There you go. I mean, this is super easy. Oh, but Dutch, what if I live in Texas and I can't get to Colorado to kill my baby? Trust me, sweetheart, there's going to be a ton of wacko left-wing groups that will pay for you to fly to Colorado and okay? The main part is that 99% of you do not understand Roe v. Wade, okay? And it's crazy to me that you don't. B, harassing Supreme Court justices, not right. Absolutely not right. It's not protesting. It's a horrible thing to do, and you're a nutbag, and you should be put down. Secondly, no one's forcing you to carry a child outside of rape and incest. Okay, you made a decision. Now you're going to do it. Okay? And it's like with anything in life, you make a decision, you deal with those consequences. But if you didn't make the decision, like rape and incest, we can discuss that later. That's a different topic for a different night. But I mean, this is just fucking crazy to me. And then the people who believe that, get on scene and they're like, what's all the Supreme Court's right to do? It's what the job you gave them. Okay? And you were super happy when they ruled on Roe v. Wade. And now that they've ruled against it, yeah, see? It's double-edged sword. Kind of sucks, right? I mean, you were super happy they ruled on Dred Scott. And if they win again, I mean, that's the way it works when you give them that kind of power. Because you don't vote for these people. And that's the issue that I have. See how this has descended into fucking chaos. Hey, it's been fun. I'm glad we caught up. I appreciate everyone listening tonight and everything everyone does. If you do me a favor, go follow those socials. And once you're done doing that, and once you're done listening to this podcast and sending us all your money, all your likes, all your subscriptions, all your love, I'd appreciate it if you guys went and checked out another podcast that I am not a part of, except I'm a silent partner and I give them their ideas through telepathy, but only the good ones. The name of the podcast is West of Nowhere. Okay? And it's with one of my good friends, Shane, or sometimes you guys know him as Batman from Xbox. He's been on the podcast. We've played video games with him. He's not a bad guy. And he and his friends have a podcast called West of Nowhere. And I think you guys should check it out after you're done checking mine out and spamming the hell out of my likes. So give me a bunch of likes and subscriptions, all your money, and then go give them whatever's left. But check it out. It's a good podcast. I listen to it from time to time. I'm real busy, but I always go like, check, boom, all that. So yeah, check out West of Nowhere. They're everywhere this podcast is, I do believe. The Dutch Endeavor one is on YouTube. It's on anchor.fm/Dutch Endeavor. It's on iTunes. It's on iHeartRadio. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. I think West of Nowhere's there too. So check them both out. You kill 2 hours of your day with some entertaining shit. I'll educate you. They'll make you dumber. And then you just come back and I'll make you smarter. They'll make you dumber. It's an endless cycle, but you'll stay on an even keel. And I think that's what's important this day and age. Okay? So until next time, again, I appreciate everyone who listens, everyone who likes, subscribes, do your part so I can do mine. And until next time, bye.